Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Nana. Strength going to be very weak. So many sir absent.
Good morning. Good afternoon, sir.
Good evening, Nana. Somebody is not came. Only 20 people are there. So
Sir,
many. So many. Says Nana. Tell me what.
Sir, yesterday class was missed, sir, from you.
That's why today are escaped from me. So
Will
now,
you say important questions, sir, today?
yes, Nana. Why we have another time is there?
What, sir?
Lastly, I will give you all the according to the syllabus. The main important questions I will give you.
Okay, sir.
So previously we are ended that Harappan civilization. So now we are going to the Vedic and later Vedic civilizations, which were the earliest cultures in our India. So the
Sir, page number tell me, sir.
page number 94 now.
Okay, sir.
So after the collapse of Harappan civilization, so on behalf of the that destroy of civilization, the foreigners are migrated to India. So many are came to India, various regions in the world. So mainly some people, those who are came from Eurasia, that people can proclaim that they are the Aryans. They are the Aryans. So they are established a very good eminent culture in India, and they are the people were learnt the language, literature, and culture to Indians. So previously, the ended that Harappan civilization that cannot be continued behalf of the floods or various reasons of collapse of Harappan civilization. So now the Vedic literature gives the main information about this civilization, and archaeological remains to give the information about the Vedic culture or Vedic civilization. So the Vedic civilization divided into two parts. The first one is the early Vedic literature, and as well as that second one is the later Vedic culture. So the early Vedic culture and the later Vedic culture is both are a Aryan culture. So these Aryan cultures were from the beginning of 15th century, 1500 BC to before the Christ, 1500 to so 500 BC. So this is the long journey of the Aryans. So that's why we are divided into two parts. That is from the beginning of early Vedic cultures to 1000 BC. That is called as the early Vedic stage, and the later Vedic stage is from beginning of 1000 to the 500 BC. So, so many says about that these Aryans were not aboriginals; they are the foreigners. Yes, this is proclaimed that Aryans were not aboriginals; those were came to India from the some differentiations, the various opinions among the historians. That's why so many are differ one by another one. So the people, who are the Aryans, some people are they are migrated around the world. Some historians are said that. So first of all, what is the means of Aryans? So the meaning of Aryan is the word derived that proclaimed that word is respect. Aryans means respect or the higher race. This is called a higher race. So the several migrations came to India from the beginning of 2000 before the Christ to the 1500 or the 500 before Christ. So some literature gives us that Sanskrit literature from the Vedic people. So the literature similarly goes to that Middle Asia. So the similar words, just like Sanskrit word Mata, that is equal to the European languages, just like mother, and Pita, just like father. So these type of sounds gives us, this is the Sanskrit literature related to the Indo, Greek, and Bactrian, such type of European languages. So the Sanskrit language dominated in India from the beginning of early Vedic period to the later Vedic period until now. Also, Sanskrit language created the so many languages of the North India. So some pronunciations also called same as that Sanskrit language. And according to the Max Muller, so many historians are decoded that Sanskrit language, and so many are discovered the Aryan races and Aryan civilizations. So the different historians are opined that these Aryans were came from various places in the world, but Balagangadhar Tilak, who was the freedom fighter, he says like that the Aryans were came from the archaic home of Aryans. He opined that, but some scholars are differ about his argument. So so many so from the beginning of Poland region to the Poland to the Western Asia. This is called the Eurasia, and some of historians are says that these Aryan people were came from the steppes, the southern part of Russia. So anyway, these all the arguments illustrated that these people were came from India, from the middle part of Asia, or Middle Asia. So the the Aryans is utterly inapplicable to race. The word is called as the respect. It means the language and nothing but language. So the migrations came from different parts, and the people, those who are Aryans, they are used that Sanskrit literature. They are expansed throughout the India and western part of Asia. So the theories are came from the origin of the Aryans, declared that among the variations, so many scholars are declared that these people came from Eurasia or Middle Asia. Not only at a time from the Eurasia or Middle Asia, so many parts of the world. This is not came a certain time. So the Aryans came as the waves, the first wave, second wave, third wave. So so many waves are there. So Europeans are came to India and emerged into with the aboriginals. So the most of historians, Aryans had migrated from the Middle Asia, and the Rig Veda also, which is the literature sources of our history, the Vedic people. So it is the earliest text, main sources of this civilization is the this is the Rig Veda. So the Rig Veda also indicate that these people were used that scattered throughout the river basins. The river basin from the Oxus River, which was located in Afghanistan. So Oxus River to the Indus River, which is located in Punjab. So between the early Vedic people settled these region between the Oxus River to the Punjab or the Indus River. So the Oxus River called in that text of Rig Veda, that is called as Kuba, and the it is also says that Indua. So the Indus River, the Aryans are mentioned in their Rig Veda. So the Rig Veda, which was codified at 900 BC, expected by the historians. So these Rig Veda, the Aryans were the Indus River, the river of excellence of Aryans. They are mentioned in that Rig Veda. So the settlements of Aryans also scattered between the Oxus River to the Indus River. So afterwards, they are migrated from Indus to their journey started from the Indus to the Gangetic Plain, eastern part of India. So the settlements led before the settlements, the Aryans, where they are started their journey from Middle Asia. There are some tribes are settled at Bactria, and some people were settled at Iran Plateau, and afterwards some people came to India, and the Punjab is the first the Vedic settlement for the Rigvedic time. So the Rigveda also mentioned that the so many hands preaches that commemoration of their culture. So these settlements were settled in the Punjab region, which is tributaries of the Indus River. So the Vedic literature gives us the 4 Vedas. You know very well. Those are the page number 95, Nana. So those were the Vedic Vedas are 4. The first one and the early text is Rig Veda. This is composed by 1028 hymns, and as well as it is divided into 10 mandalas, and along with these Rig Veda have got another 3 are the Samaveda. So this is the sounds of the hymns. It is supported and described, coded that sounds of the Vedic hymns, and the next one Yajurveda. This is also the mentioned. This is also mentioned that sacrifices of Aryan people. The last one is Atharvana Veda. It is proclaimed that magic powers of Vedic people. So these 4 are gives the information about the Vedic people culture, language, literature, and religion, society, various types of information gives us. So these Yajurveda contains the verses of the sacrifices that were to be the recited when the manual part of the sacrifice was performed. So the manual part of sacrifices is performed mentioned in Rig Veda, and the Samaveda, the collection of verses from the Rig Veda, it is literally. So the Atharvana Veda consists, until now we have discussed that mainly it is focused on magic spells and charms, and the Rig Veda significantly played the vital role in that during that 1500 BC to 900 BC. So the earliest books were available from the 2nd to 7th books were available. Afterwards, the first to 10th were composed homogeneously later Vedic period. So the other texts also available along with the including the Rig Veda. So those are called the Samhitas, and Brahmanas, Aranyakas, Upanishads. So like this. So these also the Brahmanas, the prose of manual of Vedas, and the Aranyakas concluding the perform of Brahmanas. So those were magical powers, and Upanishads attached to Aranyakas were of philosophical nature, and these are the assigned from the earliest 1000 BC to 600 BC. So the Samhitas were overlapping the early Vedic Brahmanas. So it is now accepted that Aranyakas and Upanishads as class beginning to the later times, according to the Max Muller, who was decoded that Rigvedic text. So he was illustrate that Vedic hymns are divided into the 3 types. So the Rig Veda, the hymns were composed from the 1200 BC to 1000 BC, and the Samhitas also, Brahmanas and Samhitas also coded at the time of 1000 BC to 800 BC, and the Aranyakas and Upanishads were coded that 800 BC to 600 BC. So this is the primary sources for the literary sources for the Vedic civilization, and also along with these literary sources, we have that archaeological sources too. So the archaeological remains also give the much of evidence for the scattering of the Vedic literature and culture. So after the 1960, at the Archaeological Survey of India discovered at Gandhara graves and excavated the painted graveware and graveware. So the pottery gives the information about the Vedic culture, and it is located, the Gandhara, nowadays it is located at Pakistan. So R.S. Sharma, who was the eminent scholar of the history and archaeology. So he is also opined that the connection between the Rig Veda and Gandhara grave cultures are he opined that it is true. So the painted graveware excavated at Punjab, which is now located at the bank of Indus River. So afterwards, these painted graveware also scattered throughout the northwest part of India from beginning of 1700 to the 1000 BC. The graveware and painted graveware were excavated so many sites of the northwest part of India. So at 1000 BC also, the people founded that iron, so associated with them from the 1000 BC. All these types of archaeological remains gives the information, illustrate that the discoveries not only enrich the literary knowledge or the Vedic cultural knowledge of us, but also it prove the truthfulness of the Vedic texts. So it is justified and it is recognized. These Rig Veda literature gives the information whether it is truth or not. If among the historians, the archaeological sources or archaeological pottery, painted graveware, terracotta also gives the information and emphasized that the Aryan culture is related to the Vedic literature. So the contribution of Aryans to the Indian culture, they are, of course, they are foreigners. So although they developed the contacts with the native people. So sometimes they are continue the relationships with friendly, and sometimes they are quarrel and they are hostile with the native people. So they developed the new patterns of Aryan civilization, and they are developed the Sanskrit, and they are provide the base for the literary and religious traditions for India. So the creation of totality and Indian culture, they are uniformed that India. So the ancient history from the beginning of 1500 to 500, these 1000 years maintained by the Aryans. So the historian gives the opportunity for the knowing of our Indian culture through the Vedic literature. So the early Vedic period led the very simple life. The early Vedic period is led the very simple life. So this is scattered throughout the scope of this early Vedic period is this is extended from the Afghanistan to Punjab. So the Rig Veda mentioned about the constant intra and internal relationship with the aboriginals or the local people. So the warfares also mentioned the Rig Veda. So the warfares between the Aryans and non-Aryans. So it gives the very good example about the the Dasharaja warfare, the battle of Dasharaja is very good example for us. So the Bharata and the other kings, the bank of Parushini, it is called as nowadays, it is called Ravi. So the bank of Parushini, the Dasharaja battle was occurred. So in that battlefield, Bharatas are defeated the various types of 10 tribes. 10 tribes were defeated by the Bharatas. So the defeated tribes called as the Purush. So afterwards, after the battle, the Bharata tribe mingled with the Purus. So the Bharatas and the Purus, so they are called as the Kurus. So the Kuru, it is also the word referred about the Kurukshetra, the battlefield of the epic age of Mahabharata. So it is referred about that. So the Bharata and Kuru called as the Kurus. The Bharatas are merged with the Kurus. Purus and the Purus and Bharatas are called Kurus. So the Kurus joined with the Panchalas. So those afterwards, they are begins their journey from Indus River to their journey going to the towards the Gangetic plain or the Ganga basin, river basin of Ganga. So then they are emerged with the Panchalas. So these three tribes were merged various occasions, and they are implemented that the Aryans are implemented that the merged the local people, and they are gives the dominate the culture of Vedic culture. So the Rigveda hymns, which were the prayers are made to India, the god of war. So the god of war was Indra. So there are so many times in their hymns, so many times they are mentioned as Indra. So the Indra was the god of battle or the god of warfare. So that's why they are always prayed about that Indra. And the Aryans and the non-Aryans, these groups were oftenly they are quarreled, oftenly they are going to the battlefield. So the afterwards the victory of upon the aboriginals, the Aryans, they are treated the non-Aryans were the defeated people who are they are called as Mlechos or the slavery people. So the Aryans and non-Aryan groups is the emergence of the political differentiations and the affiliation of the these two groups, and mingling of Aryans and non-Aryan elements. So that is refers about that the representation of Aryans and non-Aryans. So many are those who composed that Vishwamitra and Angirasa, Atri and Gritasamada. So these people, Gargi. So these people are also represented about that Rigvedic culture. So Vishwamitra and that Angirasa, these both are proclaimed that non-Aryans. So these Vedic people, so these people were scattered until we are discussed. They are scattered from the Afghanistan to the India. So between these region, so the Indus Valley has that fertilite lands. So these Indus tributaries are 7. So that's why this region is called as Sapta Sindhu. So in this region, the Sapta Sindhu, among these 7 rivers, the 5 rivers are flowing in the only in the state of Punjab. So that's why Pancha means 5, Ab means the rivers. So that's why that is location is called as that is Panj Ab. So that is corrupted as Punjab. So the people, the Vedic, early Vedic people were, they have the, they are have the life about, they are journeyed about the, yes, I already mentioned that hymns are 1028. So the economy of the Vedic people, early Vedic people. So the early Vedic people also, they are not settled. They are predominantly scattered that nomadic life, semi-nomadic life. So their main economy was the mixture of cattle rearing and elementary agriculture. So the elementary agriculture is going on when the iron was found at the time of these Vedic times. So the term Gavishti. The term is Gavishti means the head of the cow. So the cows. So as the priests were paid in cows for the offerings at the time of sacrifices. So the property also indicated they are the people, the Vedic people were indicate that property through the cows on the basis of the wealth. So the trade and commerce also exchanged that cows as a nowadays which is we are used that currency. So the cows also in those times they are exchanged during that barter system. So they knows agriculture and they knows sowing and what is that reaping and harvesting. So the people, Rigvedic people were very good, very well knows, and the artisans also produced that Vedic culture. So the artisans those days in Vedic during the Vedic people. So the carpenter and the weaver and tanner and porter and chariot maker. So these people were artisans. So the you know very well carpenter who is the wood maker, wood article maker and weaver. So he is also you know very well the cloth maker and the tanner. So he is also, you know, very well, tanner means the leather worker. So the porter, so the pottery maker and the chariot maker. So the chariot maker is different from these people. So among the artisans, so the chariot maker knows about the metal worker, whether copper and or that bronze. So they knows Aya. Aya means Ayo. Ayo means iron. So they know very well about the iron. So afterwards, the iron worker also emerged into this culture as a blacksmith. So the bronze worker, the copper worker, and the blacksmith, carpenter. So these artisan groups were developed after the later Vedic period. So afterwards, they are separated by the society as the castes. So the early Vedic people so maintained that the political system at the time of early Vedic period. So these people are migrated people. So they are not only a single tribe. So they are migrated so many places, and they are maintained the so many tribes. So they are scattered so many tribes. So each tribe will have a chief. So the chief is called as that Rajan, not a king. So the elder of this, the chief of the tribe is called the Rajan. So the Rajan not occurred until the early Vedic period. He is not a kingship. So he was only elder of the tribe. So he executed the judicial and the non-judicial powers. So the end of the period taken the shape of he is also kingship. So the tribes among the tribes, the Rajan supported by the Sabha and Samiti and Vidhata Gana. Sabha and Samiti and Vidhata Gana. So the Sabha is Sabha appearances to be the, the houses of the elders, the house of elders of the tribe. So all the elders are participated in the Sabha. So it represents that the Sabha represents that the as a administrative institution. So the along with the Sabha, the Samiti also is there. So the Samiti okay, the Samiti treated as the nowadays that is called as a General Assembly. It is participated in this General Assembly. All the groups of all the people of the tribe, all the members of the tribe were this Samiti, and as well as that the women representatives also participated in this Sabha and Samiti until they were not yet looked down at early Vedic times, and they were very good attended that Sabha and Samiti. So the Sabha Samiti performed judicial and political powers. So, later Rajan helped by the Rohit. So please unmute your. Please somebody, Guri Shiva. Guri Shiva, please unmute now. Okay, so these people were they are the women representatives also belongs to the tribe. They are also participated in that Sabha and Samiti. The Vidhata Gana, the elders of the people. So the Vidhata Gana also participated in the tribe's administration. They are proclaimed that they are executives that judicial and administrative powers. So day to day, the Rajan helped by the some another different elder people. So those were the Purohita. When the tribe was expanded, or the tribe population was developed or enhanced, at that time these Purohits and Senapati and the other officials also participated in that administration. So the Rajapati or the Gramani, these people also supported to the chieftain of that tribe. So those who is called as the Rajan. So the tribes voluntarily they gave the taxes. Gave the voluntarily gave that offerings to the Rajan. So those are called Bali and Bhaga. So all the tribes' pains and gains were equally distributed among that tribe. So at the time of battlefield, all the people who are the male people were participated in that battlefield, and they are the conquers and the victories are they are equally distributed that if anything gain. So the total territory of the tribe, there is no particular boundaries of the region or the tribe region. So they are established some janas, not a janapadas. So they are established similarly a small group of territory that is called a jana. So the jana also divided into the vish and our clan. So the clan or the vish also divided into so many gramas. So the women enjoyed the this time women were enjoyed the better social status, and they are participated in father-headed society. The women also mastered in ritual offerings, and they are participated in equally along with the men in the sacrifices. So so many examples also we know about that early Vedic period. So in this period, the people were uh, territorially. This is called Jana. So many Janas are there. So the Vedic, the Aryan people started from the beginning of Oxus River or Oxus River or Afghanistan to the Punjab. The settlements are scattered throughout this region. So every settlement called as the Jana. So the Jana, for the convenience of administration, they are divided that Vish. So the Vish also divided that Grama. So the all these administrative bodies, chief of the tribe is Rajan. So the Rajan done the administration along with the support of Purohit as well as the Senapati and the other elder people. So the society of the early Vedic people is, so the society is divided into two parts. Those are the Aryans and non-Aryans. So those who are came from Middle Asia, that people were invaded on the aboriginals of India. So the aboriginals are called as the non-Aryans. The who migrated from Middle Asia people were called as Aryans. So oftenly the quarrels or the battles occurred among the between the Aryans and non-Aryans. The society also divided like that. The higher people of those who are respectable people and the higher people of Aryans. So the irrespective of that Aryans, the aboriginals is the called as non-Aryans. So the representation of until we are previously discussed that the non-Aryan representatives also be proclaimed that the honor of the Aryan, some munis or some elders are there. So the Angirasa and Vishwamitra, these two intellectuals also, these philosophers also proclaimed that non-Aryans. according to the 10th mandala of Rigveda, the society is divided into 4 parts or 4 varnas. So those are called, you know very well, the Brahmanas, those who are preaching the hymns about the God. So the administrative part of the people called as the Kshatriyas. So the trading people were called as the Vaishyas. So the agricultural and cattle rear people were called as the artisans, including that artisans also called as that the people were the called as that Shudras. So these system is called as Chatur Varna system. Some historians are opined that these Varnas are divided according to the color. So, but so many are so many historians are opined that this is not only color, but also it is a work division of the Vedic people. They are proclaimed like that. So the nomadic and so semi-nomadic life they are established in this region, and the agrarian society also developed during the early Vedic period. So they are expanded the agriculture from the Indus River to the towards the Ganga River. So the Gangetic Plain also they are provoked that agriculture. The agrarian society developed during this early Vedic people from the Indus River to the Ganga River. So the occupational and the rural economies developed between the people. So the heterogeneous society also developed by this Varna system. So it is paved a way to the caste system in India. So the Varna system also produced that those who are priest class. So they are pronounced that offerings up. So they are proclaimed that hierarchy of the society in this society. And the second one, that who are they belongs to Kshatriyas or administrators also, these people also proclaimed that second category, higher category of the society, the trading communities, those who are maintained the wealth and those who are ran that trade and commerce, these people also proclaimed that third higher categories. So those who people are physically they are worked. So these those people who are belongs to the agrarians, those people who are belongs to the artisans, those people who are to the cattle rearing people. So these the largest population of these people called as that Shudras. Among these Shudras, so many work divisions are divided by the society or this Varna system. So next we are going to the religious practices during the early Vedic time. So the they are worshipped the nature. The early Vedic people worshipped the nature and the nature gods. So mainly, you know so very well, the ancient civilizations throughout the world, the primarily the human being, they are devoted to the nature throughout the world, as well as these people also, those who are migrated from the Eurasia, these people also to be continued that the devotion of the nature. So and nature of nature gods. So those who are predominantly, this is the male dominated culture. So these gods and these gods are proclaimed that the male gods. So among that, the chief god of the early Vedic people is Indra. So he was the main god of the Vedic people. He also treated as the god of battle. So according to the Rig Veda, in the hymns of the Rig Veda, all illustrated that hymns are seems to be they are devotees to the tagged with the Indra. So all times they are prayed to the Indra at the time of battle, at the time of taking that opium. So these people are proclaimed the god of the battle as Indra and Varuna. So you know very well Varuna. Varuna means the rain god, and Agni, and Surya, and Soma, and Pushan. So the last one is Savitri. So these gods also all are representation to the nature. So these all indicated that the people, those who are looking that they are who are living that people in the forest. So that's why they are devoted to the nature. So the Agni proclaimed the very good, significantly proclaimed that very good position, and he take the very good importance by the Rigvedic people. So they are increased that sacrifices. The Agni importance was increased. In sacrifices were very common. The post-Aryan practices like worshipping Rudra and Vastri and other gods also, the people later afterwards they are also devotees of the people. So regarding these early Vedic people, the people were those who are proclaimed that in nature they are devotees to the nature and nature gods. So this is the civilization of early Vedic civilization. So afterwards we are going to the later Vedic period. So the later Vedic period also proclaimed that afterwards the 1000 BC to 5th century BC. So during this 1000 to 5th century BC, the people, those who are the Aryans, were expanded their territories, and those who are expanded their political powers, and the people were expanded, and they are discovered the iron. So when the iron began to the 800 BC, the agriculture is going on to the development. So the people were settled. The people were settled, well settled, and the political system of the later Vedic period was changed as the elites. So the villages are the Janas also going to be the urbanization. So so many towns were established between the Ganga and Yamuna, Doab. So in this later Vedic period, the people who are living between the Ganga and Yamuna, Doab, so the people were dominated throughout all the tribes. So you know very well that the 10 kings battlefield got the victory about the Bharatas. So after the later Vedic period, the Rajan proclaimed became the Samrat, Virat, and Ekrat. These type of titles was got that kings, and the kingship is going to the divine power, and these tribes of people were bad oftenly they are battled with the another tribes, and they are occupied that tribes, and they are defeated that tribes, and these people established the Janas going to be forwarded as the Janapadas. So just like that polity, and it is going to be the tyranny of the kings, and some people are supported to the kings, and some people were supported to the administration. So in this administration is participated through with the supported groups like Purohit, Senapati, and Chief Princess and Prince. So these people also participated in the administration. So the economy of the people. So the agriculture is developed a very good position in the latter Vedic period. So the people were also the cattle rearing also. Uh, the cattle rearing also continued until now also. So the rituals, the cow, so many cows were sacrificed at the time of yajnas and yagas, just like Ashwamedha, Rajasuya, and Vajapaya yagas. So the agriculturally, the people were cropped about that the barley, wheat, and beans, sesame, and other grains also they are cropped. The cattle also they are maintained. That the idea of private property of land began to this during this latter Vedic period. So the people also their occupations are divided in the society. The previously we are argued about the artisans. The artisans were expanded another occupations like the smelter and blacksmith and carpenter, weaver and leather worker and jeweler and porter and agriculturist and porter. So many various types of occupations are entered into the society, and the existed the elementary of trade was expanded one place to another place. The evidence of urbanization or the growth of the towns is not supported by the archaeological discoveries also supported to that urbanization. So it believed which that what is the gained as surplus through the agriculture was used to the support the necessary political and religious authority. So the kings and the priests were going to the very good rich position. So the society also divided into so many castes. So the Varna system expands among the Shudras. So the Varna system appears, and the Varna system going to be the rigidity. It is occurred the shape of the rigidity, and the practice are going on. The Brahmins were a very good position, socially, economically powerful, and large scale of practices of sacrifices and offerings between the Brahmins and Kshatriyas. The Kshatriyas who are the ruling community. The Vaishyas also engaged themselves in agriculture and cattle breeding. So they paid tributes to the king. All the three Varna also entitled them as that twice born people. So those people were once they are naturally birth, and they are wearing afterwards the sacrificial thread. So the institution of Gotra also introduced in this time. So the Varnashrama Dharmas also emerged during the latter Vedic period. So the people, those who are felt like that practical system is continued and the birth of sons was favored and the birth of daughter was discouraged. So, and the monogamy was gradually captured the norms, but the princess could marry more than one of the women. The palindry was unknown. More the more restrictions were impressed on women. Though there were women, some scholars also came during this time, just like Gargi, who is wrote that Gargi Samhita, Gargi Samhita. The Gargi also very good philosopher during the later Vedic period. So the people, these later Vedic people also, they are proclaimed that the expression of royal nobility, they are proclaimed the higher three varnas, and they are the kings also, along with the administration, they are collected the so many taxes and so many offerings from the people and some from the Shudras. So the people, those who are in hierarchical, the first one is Brahmins. The priest entered into the administrative bodies, and the commander in chief also participated in the administration. So the religion of this later Vedic period is ideas is, so they are left, they are lost the Indra, Varuna, and the Agni. So in that place occupied by the those who are the Prajapati and Rudra, and also Vaishnavism, and Vishnu became a prominent god during this later Vedic period. So further, every caste also began to have the god. Every caste have that god. So instead of that prayers, performing that sacrifices, and they are offering the animal sacrifices. So significantly, so the Brahmins became a very good and strong and powerful position occurred. Towards the end of this phase, the theory of karma and transmigration and the soul became a dominant aspect of the philosophy of life. So, in one way, Upanishads may be regarded as opposite to the sacrifices and killing of the animals as offerings. So, the Upanishads preached that need of understanding Atma and Paramatma. So, in this period, so the asceticism and leading of life of sannyasi also became a popular. So, corresponding to these developments, the varnashrama dharmas, according to the regarding the literature. So, the samskaras also introduced, emerged during the later Vedic period. So, the brahmacharya is first 25 years also proclaimed that brahmacharya. After the 25 years proclaimed that grihasthashrama, and another 50 to 75 years they are got the vanaprastha, and the last one is from the 75 to 100 years if they live. This is the life of a sage in the hermitage. So this type of culture, Latin Vedic culture, is developed during the 1000 BC to 500 BC. So afterwards, you know very well in India, the Indian people are so many are incarnation of gods wrote that Ramayana and Mahabharata proclaimed as the Indian epics. So the Indian epics, these Indian epics were Ramayana is proclaimed, illustrated that the expansion of Aryans, and the Mahabharata expansion of Aryans to the south. So Ramayana gives the information about the morality of families, and the Mahabharata, the epic Mahabharata, also illustrate that the moral and ethical behavior of the society. It is learn about that epic stages. So thank you, one and all.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, Nana, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, Nana, thank you.
Are
Thank you, sir.